everybody, welcome to another episode of He Said, Goose Said. I'm Marty, and this is my son Henry. Hello! And today we are reviewing a film, an adaptation of a literary classic, Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility, directed by Ang Lee. This wasn't my choice, this was also Henry's choice, but I am going to go into it with an open mind, an open heart. I can't wait. Alright, let's do it.
So here's what the movie's about. A wealthy Mr. Dashwood is on his deathbed and he makes his son John promise to take care of the family after he dies. But his greedy wife Fanny changes his mind about being generous with his half-sisters. So the widow gets a tiny pension, forcing her to move with 3 daughters to a cheap country cottage. And their lack of fortune affects the marriageability of practical Eleanor, played by Emma Thompson, and romantic Marianne, played by Kate Winslet. When Eleanor forms an attachment to the wealthy Edward Ferrars, played by Hugh Grant, his family disapproves and separates them. See, it's like a class thing, like, oh, these are peasants, so I'm not going to marry them. And though Mrs. Jennings tries to match the worthy and rich Colonel Brandon, played by Alan Rickman, to Marianne, she finds the dashing John Willoughby more to her taste. Both relationships are sorely tried, as both suitors have dark secrets and they don't really say what's going on up front. Many conversations, long walks, and endless gossip pad out this movie. We get a couple of rescues, we get a ballroom dance where everyone's hopping around, and a parrot named Pooter who probably steals the entire movie with a single squawk. Will these hopeless women living in 100-acre squalor manage to find love in the end? I don't know.
Alright, so let's talk about the cast. Hugh Grant looks like he's holding in a sneeze the entire movie, and he's afraid to start a sentence. He has the energy of a guy that just backed up into a food cart and is horribly embarrassed to continue. You can almost hear the director screaming off camera, "More disheveled, Hugh!" I had a hard time getting my head around Alan Rickman playing a charming role. I'm so used to seeing him as a villain. Like every time he opened his mouth, all I could hear was Hans Gruber.
And give me my detonators. And give me my detonators.
Talk to me! Where are my detonators?
Kate Winslet pretty much carries the entire film, except when Kate Winslet is being carried through a field by different men. It seems to be her character's MO. Emma Thompson doesn't speak above a whisper through almost the entire film until the final revelation where she lets out this gut-wrenching wail that would startle a hippo. Spoiler alert, she gives a gut-wrenching wail that would startle a hippo, sorry. But she does a good job of making us believe that she would fall in love with someone like Hugh Grant. The biggest surprise to me was, no Maggie Smith? I thought she was in all these movies. So when Maggie Smith dies, do they just stop making costume dramas forever? The problem I have with this movie is that I don't get the sense, or sensibility, that anyone in this movie is actually poor. I mean, they live in this gorgeous countryside, they have a servant named Pigeon, and they have the most badass tree house that I've ever seen in the history of cinema. Unfortunately, the movie does not meet my 3 requirements I look for in a film. 1, is there a fire suit stuntman? No. 2, is there a kitty cat jump scare? No, but Kate Winslet almost steps in horse crap, so that's pretty good. I think a much bolder director would have had all the actresses step in horse crap, because it was everywhere back then. Just add some realism to it. And finally, does somebody say the title in the movie? No. It's like, what a missed opportunity. I feel like they should have given that line to Pigeon, and he could have leaned in towards the camera and been like, "If you ask me, takes a lot of sense and sensibility to deal with these people." You know, something like that. Now here's some of Henry's takeaways. Henry clapped whenever somebody went fast on a horse. Henry loved Alan Rickman's voice. And Henry could really relate to the baby that was forced to wear a hat. He really connected with that baby extra.
The movie has a lot of things going for it. You know, it has 19th century romantic escapism with love triangles, jealous suitors, rich blabbermouths, and a character that tries to commit suicide by rain. It's all wrapped up in this sweeping romance in a beautiful countryside with really fast horses and a really interesting baby actor.
Here are some highlights from our reactions when we were watching the movie.
All I have ever wanted is the quiet of a private life, but my mother is determined to see me distinguished.
As?
Anything. A great orator, a leading politician. I think even a barrister would serve as long as I drove a barouche and dined in the first circle.
What do you wish for?
I've always preferred the church, but that is not smart enough for my mother. She prefers the army. But
he had a tragic history. He loved a girl once, 20 years ago now. A ward to his family, but they were not permitted to marry.
On what grounds?
Money. Eliza was poor.
Well, you can take a break if you need it. Fine.
I'm certainly nothing to Mrs. Ferris at present.
Who told you that Mr. Ferris was married, Thomas?
I see Mrs. Ferris myself, ma'am.
And then Hugh Grant enters the scene like he pooped his pants. He doesn't want anyone to notice. Alright, that's the end of our episode. Thanks for watching He Said, Goose Said. We will see you next week.